What's up, everyone? Quick update on GameStop. Simply because we're at the end of the week, we have earnings coming up and some interesting behavior today. So the last time we spoke, we were talking about how I was really digging that it looks like it's consolidating up kind of in this mid to high 20 handle, which is fantastic. And what I found of interest is I'm keeping a really close eye on the volume. And what I want to detect is how price behaves as volume is moving around. And one of the things that I noticed even on today is that it had a very, very low open close range, right? It opened at 27.88, closed at 27.42. So like $1.40 range, really, really small range. But look at the volume. It contracted quite a lot. We've gone from a 5-day average volume of 11.5 mil, 20-day average volume of about 12 mil, down to 8 mil. So volume is contracting. And what I like about this is that even though volume is contracting, it's still hanging up in the 20s. Now, I know a lot of people were hopeful that we would crack above 30. It looked like it was genuinely a potential, but it definitely seems like things slow down a little bit. And today was a little bit of a lighter expiration. We obviously had decent exposure here in 22 Nov, but it wasn't crazy, right? So it was 93,000 options against 15,871. We can see that the bulk of those options were at the 30, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if this will pop up. Yeah, so 30. On the call side, there was 22,600 there. So those, didn't stand too much of a chance of falling in the money. We can see that the 28s, we were just shy of that. There was 7,000 there. And then at the 27s, there was a ton that came in the money. But yeah, the 30s were pretty heavy. And the thing I found interesting is that these were people really bidding into the 30s because there was options added over yesterday into today. So there was a little bit of an expectation of a movement, but it just didn't materialize, it looks like. So a couple other things that I want to discuss here is when I look at the overall movement lately in GameStop, I can kind of tell that the overall disposition of traders is moving because we generally will have really, really heavy OI. In the front expiration here, it's 136K against 34. This is OI before we were looking at volume. And then if we go to the 29th, that's 92 and 22. The 6th is 33 and 8. 20Ds is 52 and 25K. The 17th of Jan, 25, look at that, 291K against 114. So we're actually playing this a little bit longer term. I want to reiterate that point, and it hasn't changed. It's still very much centralized in these nearer term expirations. We can see that for today, there were quite a few calls that were sold, which makes sense. Expiration Friday, a lot of the volume that we looked at for today in this front expiration would be trades that are being moved out in time. So like these 30s here, the 23,000 of those that rolled through today, those are people that are closing out because the total OI was 24,000. Right. So a lot of those people were closing positions. Some of them obviously opening some stuff, but most of them were closing and moving out. Let's take a look. Let's see what the volume looks like for next week. If they were just moving out a week. Yeah. So 70,000. So that's a pretty significant change where if we look at the open interest, it's 92,000 for 29 Nov. So my guess is people are going to start getting ready to play some earnings here. Earnings is scheduled for December. So we'll probably continue to see people running the front month as they tend to. And then as we get closer to earnings, we'll see how active things get. The market right now is pricing pretty significant vol, but not crazy, right? So 125% and 136% for 6 and 13Ds, which is closer, obviously, to the earnings release itself. And if we take a peek at its prior earnings, we can see a couple behaviors. So if we look specifically at Q3, it tends to kind of float sideways, right? We can see that sideways activity here, and we can see it look essentially the same back here. So if we're looking at kind of quarterly seasonality for earnings, it looks like Q3 tends to be a little bit more quiet. But we can also see that on the gaps, it's had 2 gap downs, and this one was about a 10% gap down. This one was about the same. And then this one was 26 down to 21. So a little bit more, but not excessively more. So overall, it looks like the earnings have been tightening up a little bit. Q2 was softer than I actually expected because they came in at a penny and they were expected at negative a penny. So I thought that there was going to be a little bit more of a positive continuation through there. From a volatility perspective, definitely very, very volatile through earnings. We can see it tends to have risk premiums, but they're not really too reliable just because of how emphatically GameStop can move. So let's take a quick look at the trades for the week and see what sticks out to us. Because again, there is a couple things that I think are worth talking about. First, let's grab GameStop here. And I want to look at specifically for the week. So overall, we can see call premiums, they really jacked up on the 20th into the 21st. And then they've really slowed down since. And put premiums have been about steady. So now let's take a quick look at any interesting options trades for this week. So we'll look at the last 7 days. And active, but not excessively so. So a lot of the bigger trades are actually sales. And we can still see that most of the trades that are coming through are out in 2025. So this is, again, a little bit of that longer term positioning. I would expect the options to get pretty active as we get closer into earnings. It's just a little too early now for people that want to trade earnings specifically to start putting positions on here. So I also will take a quick look at the dark pool and see if there's anything interesting from this week. Let's grab the last 7 days and then let's sort these by premium so we get to see the bigger trades. And this looks actually a little quieter than usual. So there's typically over the course of a week, I normally see a little bit more of mil plus size trades, but I mean, they're still here, obviously. And it looks like they're really spread across. So the other thing I'm looking for here is in terms of the dates that they occurred. Were there any centralization of the dates, anything that sticks out in terms of like persistent hits or anything like that? And I don't really see that. So let's take a quick last look now through a little bit of news. So here we'll grab this little tool down here. And then I just want to flip through some of the recent news and see from a high level perspective. Yeah, so as you guys know, Gensler is stepping down. They're going to resign on inauguration, the 20th of January. So that's, awesome. No love lost there. And it looks like they're kind of linking just busy stocks, right? So MicroStrategy and stuff's in here. On the 19th, there was a bit of a highlight on some heavy call activity, but nothing that I saw too specific. And then on the 18th, there was a little bit of news. It says Collection Holdings, Nat Turner joined the board of video game retailer and original meme stock GameStop. I think everybody's, light years aware of this because I also think that he did it for no compensation, right? It says appointed to the board, tightening video game retailer, linked to authentication management against management specialist Collectors Holdings. And if I'm not mistaken, let me double check that really quick. Yeah, so grabbing this here, it looks like he's not, which is great. So now they have 6 board members. Interesting. I wonder how far they're going to go down this collectible path. Yeah, because this is obviously happening where GameStop is moving beyond video games. We knew that was going to happen. They're sitting on a lot of money to do this. I still think that there's a bigger play underneath the surface here. I don't know exactly where it is or when they're talking about it, but like this feels like a safe, close to home style move with grading. And I wonder, yeah, I'm really eager for this next earnings to see if we hear anything that, indicates what direction they might be taking stuff. But yeah, overall, GameStop is most importantly impressing me with its ability to hang out in the high 20s. I want to see that continue. If there's anything that you think I should take a look at, let me know in the comments. Be an outlier. I'll see you all later.